My friend Evangelist George, it was the one that triggered this in my spirit, and I need to share that with you. You know, Evangelist George and I were with one of our brothers, Evangelist Joseph Ashanya, in his crusade at Ajaokuta. And one morning, while we were in the same room with my brother Evangelist George, he said, you know, he was sharing something he read that morning, and he was praying, and you know, he wanted to share with me. And he was talking about the bleating of the sheep. The bleating of the sheep, the discussion between Samuel and Saul. God told Samuel, he told Samuel to go and speak to Saul. Who was Saul? Saul, the king of Israel. God asked him, go to the land of Amalek or Amalekites and destroy everything. Children, men, women, everything. That was the instruction. Spare no one. But he went there, truly he killed, he destroyed, but he selected choiced lambs, choiced sheep, choiced animals, and he also spared the king Agag. And when he met Samuel, the prophet of God, he said, I have performed all that the Lord has commanded. And he was telling him these exploits and the great things that he had achieved. The striking word. And Samuel said, he said, are you sure you've done this? He said, yes, I've done all that. But this is the main point. And Samuel answered, what meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in my ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? What meaneth it? All these things you are saying, there is a sound at the background that contradicts what you are saying. While you are singing, what the Lord hears is a bleating of the sheep and the lowing of oxen. What means this sound? He said, I have done that. And he said, I brought them for sacrifice. Because when you are dealing with a spiritual man, it's a very delicate thing, because a spiritual man can create spiritual explanations to carnality. He said, I brought these for sacrifice unto thy Lord, the Lord thy God. And he said, is obedience not better than sacrifice? To hearken, not better than the rams. What is obedience? What is sacrifice? Listen carefully. When we are dealing with sacrifice, sacrifice is within the jurisdiction of the person who sacrificed. Obedience is strictly within the jurisdiction of the instructor. You could choose to sacrifice whatever you want to sacrifice for me. That means you are the one in charge of the choice of the sacrifice. So you can be sacrificial, but not meeting my need. Obedience is that I told you what I want, and you have to do it. But sacrifice that you choose what you want to do. He said, you know, that day, that morning we were praying and said, God, help us. You know, it was a morning of prayer, like, God. Because as you are preaching, what the Lord is hearing is the bleating of the sheep. That instruction that he has given, that you decided to use your sacrifice in place of. The Lord said, preach to that person. But you said, no, I'm going on 7 days retreat. And while you are praying, there is a bleating of a sheep. You say, Lord, what are you hearing at the background of my message? What are you hearing at the background of my song? There is a bleating of sheep, the lowing of oxen at the background of all that Saul was saying. If there is any other thing I will give, are you satisfied with my sacrifice? Are you satisfied in me? If there is any that you need from me, I will give.